Hello and welcome to TheMan Games. This is the podcast show. It is The Man
And the wife.
podcast. It is actually a movie review from the film Ready to Rumble based on WCW. So this film came out in April 2000. It is made by Warner Brothers. The budget for the film was 24 million and at box office it only drew 12.5, which I actually thought was more than it was going to get anyway.
Yeah, well, it's funny because after we finished watching the film, I thought I'd give it a Google and look at some facts. And I thought, could you imagine making a film for 24 million and then barely even making half of it back?
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you, it's more than I thought, but they spent more than I thought they would as well at the same time. So crazy. So this was in cinema then.
Yeah, not in the UK, I don't think, but it will have been in America.
I was going to say not that I was in the UK, but I've never heard of it in Australia either. But hey ho.
So the main three stars of the film is David Arquette, Oliver Platt, and Scott Caan. So did you recognise any, not wrestlers, but any of the other actors out of other movies you've seen?
Yes, yeah, I did actually. I was really surprised by the cast when you were watching this film. I just assumed it was just going to be like a load of actors that I'd never even heard of do like a really
bad job.
Yeah, pretty much. Just because I'd never heard of it, I suppose. But there's David Arquette, obviously, who was friends and all sorts. He did all sorts, and I knew that. But the blonde guy, the Sean guy, what's his name again?
Scott Caan.
Yeah, so he's in Entourage and all sorts.
I've not seen that.
And
I watched a little bit of it, but I'm not seen it all.
Yeah,
he's in that Into the Blue that we watched with Paul Walker as well.
Yeah, so I recognise him from a few films, and then the Sasha chick.
Yeah.
She was in a film I used to watch as a kid. Well, as a kid, I suppose. Called Jawbreaker. It's I think it was made like late 1990s or early 2000s. And it's like a proper chick flick that was kind of about those times. There's lots of films like that, like Bring It On and stuff like that, about girls trying to kidnap one of their friends as a joke for their birthday. They kill them with a jawbreaker. Put a jawbreaker.
A gobstopper.
In her mouth, and she chokes and dies. Used to love watching that my friend's house.
Sounds a lovely film.
It was a really good film.
I've not seen her in anything else actually. I know she's a voice in one of the Call of Duty games, but I don't know. I've not seen her in anything else.
All right. And then there was obviously Jimmy King's wife is out of Sabrina.
Yeah, Hilda.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Oh, Shermanator.
Yeah. Chris Owen. That's his real name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Obviously Shermanator is out of American Pie. For anyone who doesn't know that. I can't think of who else I recognise.
Jimmy King.
Who was he?
He was in Beethoven. He's one of the bad guys in the Beethoven film.
Alright.
He's in Simon Bird. Have you seen that?
Yep.
A film about a little disabled boy. He is also in there's a film we watched quite recently, but I can't actually remember what it was called. So yeah, that was not good story. So yeah, what about Titus Sinclair? No, he was a bad guy in the Goonies film.
Yeah, I don't like that film, so
you're probably like one of the only people in the world that doesn't like the Goonies.
I know. We might lose some subscribers here.
Yeah. Sal Bandini.
He looked familiar, but I can't think of his name.
The only thing I've seen him in is Ed TV, I think.
Alright, okay.
Do you know what that is?
Nope.
So it's a film based on like a TV company film this guy's life, and it gets too much for him, and then they have to trick the network to take off the TV.
Alright, okay. I can't think of anyone else who was not a wrestler that was on there. So
Jimmy King's mum, she was in Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. She was an old woman, an old woman character in that. I can't think of anyone else that I've seen in other things. So we'll move on. So some of the wrestlers in the film were Goldberg, DDP, Sting, Bam Bam Bigelow, Randy Savage, Booker T, Sid Vicious, Juventud Guerrero, Kurt Hennig, Disco Inferno, Billy Kidman, Conan, Rey Mysterio, Perry Saturn, Prince Ikea, Van Hammer, Gorgeous George, and then also there was Michael Buffer, Gene Oakland, Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, Charles Robinson, the Nitro Girls, Che, Fire, Spice, Tigress, and Storm. She is also Booker T's wife, Charmel. And also John Cena.
I know. Now I only know this because I was googling about the film after.
Ah.
At the end, so I said I did a bit of research after we watched the film, and I was like, "Oh no way!"
So what scene was he in then?
He was in the scene in the gym with Goldberg. I even googled a picture because I didn't believe it. He has that pretty blonde, sticky up hair. Oh, you really thought he had something on me, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Google ruined it for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It was his first ever movie debut.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So it's probably the first time I've watched this film in about 10 years because we've been together nearly 9 and I've not watched it since we've been together. So I reckon a good 10 years since I watched the film. So what did you actually think of the film?
Sorry, can I cut you off there for 1 second? Go back to the John Cena thing.
Yeah.
Did you know that yourself before? Like, when did you know it was John Cena?
I think I found out. I think Wrestle Talk did something about it, and that's what I found out. I think.
Yeah, Wrestle Talk has something about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew how you knew. Anyway, so go back to you not watched it in 10 years.
Yeah, and then I asked you the question. So, what did you actually think to the film? Did you enjoy it, or did you think it was a waste of time watching it?
Oh no, it wasn't a horrendous film. It probably wouldn't be my cup of tea. Like I don't think I'd be like, oh, let's watch Royal Rumble again, sort of thing. But some of it was okay. I think I enjoyed seeing the wrestlers and that. I thought that was good. Thought the storyline was a bit naff.
I think the story, the base of the storyline's good. It's just the bits in between.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, some stupid things, but obviously.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the target audience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a teenage target audience, isn't it? And that sort of era as well have a lot of those sort of films, isn't it? Like that kind of comedy is very.
Yeah, it's around the time when Scary Movie and things like that were coming out.
Yeah, and Another Teen Movie and all those sorts of films. So obviously it sort of fits within that, but yeah, it was okay. I can see why wrestling fans would like it, just with all the wrestlers being in there and that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So the film.
Did you love it?
I used to really like it when obviously I was a teenager. Well, yeah, teenager. Yeah.
Did you enjoy watching it back as much as you thought you would, or?
Yeah, I still enjoy watching it back, but when you're a bit older, you do realise some stuff that you wouldn't when you were a child, like about filmmaking and some things not actually
being
as
as good. And you watch the film
good.
back, you're like, oh, I remember that being really good. Like I remember watching the Santa Claus film back. I watch it every year. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Tim Allen. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that scene when they they're on the roof and he gets into the sleigh and then the sleigh goes down and off and it's really CGI and as a kid I never noticed it. I always thought it was you just don't really notice those sort of things, and then obviously you watch it back at as you're older and you're like, oh my god, technology's changed so much and it looks so fake now. That does. Same with in Harry Potter when they go into Diagon Alley. And the bricks open. I can remember when that first came up, like, oh my god, look at that, opening up, and I watch back, I'm like, that's crap.
Yeah.
Not crap, but do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
So yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with that you didn't like the Santa Claus film. I was like,
why do we watch it every year?
Yeah.
No, that's not what I was going with. Sorry.
So did you have a favourite scene or anything in the film?
I have a favourite line in the film.
Go on.
So it's when they're doing that 3-cage match, final match.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say now.
And it's they handcuff DDP to the cage, and the Sean kid blows white stuff in his face.
Yeah, powder.
It doesn't work. And then he goes, a DDP diamond is just a pussy upside down. Or something
diamond upside down. It's a good line, but you can't say it. A diamond upside down is a pussy, he says.
Yeah, love that line. That actually fucking made me chuckle and laugh out loud. You?
She loved it that much she couldn't remember it.
I'll be quiet.
My favourite scene is probably one at the start of the film where Gordy's imagining him and Jimmy King teaming up against the shop owner and Macho Man.
Yes, that was a good scene as well.
So the film starts off with Sean and Gordy outside the shop. And they're talking to a load of kids.
Store, isn't it?
Yeah, convenience store. Yeah, talking to a load of kids about wrestling. The guy comes out and says that wrestling's crap and chucks the kids' bikes at them, pretty much. Then the Macho Man scene comes after that.
I do enjoy when who says wrestling's fake. Is it?
That's the next thing. Gory's dad, who's a police officer, comes up and is saying that he wants his son to be a police officer also. Then he finds a wrestling magazine in his back pocket and he says, "Gordy, wrestling's fake," and he screams, "Wrestling's not fake."
I feel like that's every single wrestling fan ever.
Yeah.
It's like that bit, and I can imagine like every single wrestling fan watching this film being like, "Yeah, you're right, wrestling isn't fake." Yeah.
Yeah. So next up, they're kind of excited. They're gonna go to WCW Nitro, so they're really excited about going to that. They're talking about it while they're at work, and their workers. Trying to think of the right word to sewage waste people, maybe. Yeah.
They work with portaloos and stuff like that, don't
they? Yeah. Well, some guys don't say, "Hey, shit boys, how's the shit work?"
Yeah.
So yeah, Sean goes to use the toilet, and Gordy used the sucking mechanism to try and suck him down the toilet, and then Sean suplexes him on the outside of the portaloo. Yeah. So Miss Mackenzie, the woman, they could go to her house and sort out her sewage and stuff. Do you realise who that woman is? She's in a film we've watched together.
Not that I can think of.
She is the old woman out of The Wedding Singer that sings to her husband at their anniversary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now they're at WCW. They're going to watch Jimmy King fight DDP for the title.
Can I interrupt you there? I've got a question. Why is it that obviously there's like all these like real wrestlers that are in there in the film?
Yeah.
Except for Jimmy King.
Yeah, I remember thinking that as a kid.
Do you mean?
Yeah.
What? But why?
Maybe because he's like the star of the show, so they wanted a real actor to play the role, not a wrestler.
Maybe.
Even though it's a wrestling.
Is he supposed to represent somebody like from the wrestling community? No.
I think he's just meant to be like.
Is that the same thing with the Nitro girls? Like Sasha obviously isn't a real Nitro girl, but the rest of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they want someone that could have been on wrestling to be a female character in the film. So yeah, I reckon that's what they've done there.
Okay, interesting. Another question then.
Yeah.
DDP being like the main person to go against. Why is that? Was DDP massive at the time? Is that why, or is it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, like at this point, he was a two-time WCW champion. He'll been one of the biggest stars in the company.
If you, well, that's a stupid question. Never mind. I was gonna say if you could pick a wrestler like if you could pick a real wrestler to act as Jimmy King, who would you have picked? You would obviously pick Sting to be the main character.
What, to beat Jimmy King? To actually be the character Jimmy King?
Yeah. Or not even just be the character Jimmy King, but
to be the main character of the film.
Of the film, yeah. Would you pick Sting or would you pick somebody else?
I'd probably pick someone else because you want kind of like an underdog kind of.
Yeah. Someone
that could be an underdog.
Like who?
I suppose probably like someone like Rey Mysterio. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Right.
So, the Titus Sinclair character, so he was actually meant to be played by Eric Bischoff in this film, yeah. But, well, on Wikipedia it says so on Wikimedia it says that's what I said, Wikipedia. I said it wrong that time. I said it right the first time.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, on that thing. It says that Eric Bischoff was originally planned to star in the movie as a fictional character of himself, but he was fired from the WCW before the filming began. I'm not sure if that is actually true. I think he didn't want to be in the film, but that's just what
Was this like produced by WCW? Obviously, I know that
Warner Brothers. WCW was a part of Warner Brothers, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because like on all the pay-per-views when you used to get on VHS, it said Warner Brothers.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, I think it was Warner Brothers and AOL part of the same thing. I think maybe.
Okay.
So yeah. So just another fun fact: Chris Kanyon played the role of Sean's stunt double, and the Hurricane Shane Helms was David Arquette's stunt double for the film.
Did not know that.
So in the match, it is Jimmy King against DDP for the World Championship. DDP screws the King. Sinclair says to him, "It's going to be your night."
I think that was like a homage to
the Mortron screw job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I think because last time I watched it, I was quite young. I didn't really know as much about the screw job. I did think that watching this back.
There's a few things where I thought, are they sticking it to WWE?
Maybe. The thing that I don't get is because he says to all the boys, doesn't he? There's like Gobo, Booker T there, and DDP obviously, and there's like, what's the finish? And he says, "Oh, King will crown you," then he wins. But then when that doesn't happen, why is no one else like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Doesn't really make a lot of sense when you look at it like that. So Jimmy King gets screwed over in the match. His own like partners, I suppose you'd call them, turn on him as well. I really like it when like Gordy and Sean try to run into the ring and help him, and Gordy's like, "This can't happen. It's not even a pay-per-view."
Yes.
I did think of that when we watched AEW this week when Cody went through the thumbtacks.
Oh yeah. I think you even said that line, didn't you?
Yeah. As a joke.
Yeah, obviously it's a joke. I know what you're doing. Yeah, I thought that. Every time like things happen in this film, I just think, I bet that was you as a kid. I bet that was you as a kid. I bet you know as an adult. As a wrestling fan, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jimmy King gets... Go on.
I just thought it was... when you're watching obviously them at the wrestling show at WCW, how funny it looks for it to be on, like, as a film of an episode of WCW, rather than just, like, it's not like watching an episode of WCW, obviously it's like a film version of it, WCW. It just thought it was really strange seeing that sort of, like, perspective, almost.
Yeah, true. I did think in the main event, well, not the main event, but, like, the Triple Cage match between DDP and Jimmy King, like, why did no one watch that and think cinematic matches like they're doing now? Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of what it is, really, isn't it? It's a cinematic match, but it's in a film.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they've taken how many years? 20 years to get there?
Yeah. So Sean and Cody are gutted about Jimmy King losing his title. They're having a bit of a cry in their wagon going back to Lusk.
Thought this scene was stupid.
What, when they crash the thing?
Yeah, and all this stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But I suppose they need a reason to...
I know, but then like the whole the poo goes everywhere, and then the toilet paper comes along, and
yeah,
it's like it's just a bit unnecessary.
Okay. Do you have a way how you would have done things differently, or?
I don't have a way of doing it. I just thought while I was watching it, I just remember thinking, "Oh, this is silly."
Right. So that after they crash the wagon and what you just said happens, they pick up a ride with a load of nuns, and like I don't really get when they get off and they're like, "How many times did you fight in the van?" And they're like, "It wasn't me," and like it was the fighting nuns. Yeah. Didn't really get that line considering they've got covered in shit themselves. You think it was them.
Yeah.
So next up, they go to a shop and they find the Shermanator playing an arcade game of Jimmy King. So I don't even know if he actually gets a proper name in the film. It says Isaac on
Wikipedia. There we are.
I don't think that actually says that in the film though. So he's going to help them find Jimmy King. So I think it's funny when they go to Jimmy King's parents' house, and his dad's saying like, "Oh, he wasted his life with wrestling," and he's like, "I beg to differ. He did really good in school, and then when you died in a plane crash, he supported your wife through everything.
Yeah.
I thought like that's just so funny, like how people believe everything they read, even though they're like talking to proof of that not happening.
I feel like that's yeah, because that happens so often, isn't it? Like especially with social media and the internet and everything. These obviously wasn't so prevalent back then, but now, I mean, people read things on Facebook like, oh well, this it says this, and you're like, yeah, but it's on Facebook, so like even if it isn't news, like it's
Yeah.
but like that's the same like newspapers and stuff like that, and people just if it's in writing, people will believe it, which is, and I think it's sort of very not ahead of its time, but like to sort of use that sort of line, use that sort of idea, and do that, especially back then. I don't know. I thought it was really funny and really What's the word I'm looking for?
No, I think you're kind of right. It is ahead of its time.
Yeah, like it's ahead of its time, and it's just. I think when you watch it back now, you see that you're like, yeah, that's so true. Whereas it probably would have been as funny back then. Well, it would have been funny, but it wouldn't have been like that makes sense. It would have been ridiculous. But now it's like actually it's not that ridiculous because people do believe stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah. So then they find Jimmy King in RV lot, would you call it?
Yeah.
Or a caravan park or
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
A trailer park.
Trailer park, that's the word. He's dressed up as a woman because he's hiding out from a few people. They're trying to convince him to go back to wrestling, but he won't. So they go on a beer run to get him some beer. And then...
Which doesn't make any sense.
What?
Well, it just seems a bit weird for them to go on a beer run to try and win somebody over. I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
Well, maybe that's to earn his trust.
This is what I mean about finding parts of the film stupid. Just like bits like that, you're just like, why?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I never said it was a great film.
I know you never said it was great. I'm just telling you how I feel. Just say what I feel. You know, just reviewing it and giving you my review. You're getting defensive now.
I wouldn't say I was getting defensive. But
anyway, keep going.
Okay, sweet. So then they're like wrestling him, I suppose, and convince him to take a shot at Sinclair. So then they go to New York and turn up at a Nitro. So when they get to the arena, Mean Gene's in the ring and he's announcing the matches for the show. And he says, in the main event, it's going to be DDP taking on the Disco Inferno. I remember thinking as a kid, that sounds like a shit main event. Like, why would you want to see the WCW champion DDP fighting the Disco Inferno? Like, yeah, I just thought that sounds shit.
Maybe it was bigger maybe they were big in the film. You just don't know.
So next up it is the Nitro Girls scene where Sean and Gordy are looking through the door and the Nitro Girls are getting changed.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better scenes in the film.
It's so funny.
So, okay.
Yeah, there was a nice awkward silence there, wasn't there?
Well, I thought maybe you were going to like take the reins and move on, but no.
Well, I do actually have about notes because it goes to Sinclair talking to Paige. Oh, right.
DDP, yeah.
Yeah, DDP. Saying, I can't think of what we're saying.
So we're saying we're going to start tight on the belt and then we'll reveal.
Yes.
Which they don't actually do.
No. And then Paige starts cutting. Sorry, DDP starts cutting a promo, doesn't he? And it's like they literally have a few seconds to talk about what they're going to talk about, and then he starts cutting a promo.
Yeah. And
I just think, do you reckon that's how WCW released their promos like that quickly, like just no thought, just straight into it?
Yeah, probably.
Unlike obviously WWE, who have like scripts and they have like scenes and they have this and that. It's a lot more like staged.
Yeah.
Was WCW? Do you reckon WCW was like that? Like,
yeah,
just walk
I do.
up
Probably.
camera
Yeah.
and just like boom, let's go. Do you prefer that way?
I prefer unscripted promos. I will say that just because you have things like Roman Reigns coming out with saying "suckering succotash" and just awful stuff. Like even like obviously on the channel, it's a lot of 2K20 content. It's like the base of the channel. This is kind of just like an add-on on the channel. But you actually read some of the promos of that on the Universe mode, and they're absolutely crap. They're not talking about eating cereal and stuff like that. So when I do my Universe modes, I talk over what the writing's saying and just make up my own because it's just so crap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, they're not getting the best writers in to do that, do they?
Well, no, they didn't even get the best game makers in, did they?
Well, that's very true. And then what happens is, so obviously they've snuck into the taping, and King is in a portaloo, and he can hear everything that they're saying about him, they're slagging him off, and he jumps out of the toilet and starts checking.
This is actually a really good scene. I thought, like,
This
I do
is
like, yeah,
definitely one of the better scenes, of the film.
Yeah. I'd say this scene, the Macho Man scene, and then obviously the match at the end. It's probably my favourite 3 scenes of the film.
And then they all start. So King is beating up DDP, and they're all and then Gordy and Sean get involved and all this stuff, and then the ref King pins DDP, and he gets ref in. He counts 1, 2, 3, and it's like, oh, there's a new champion, blah blah blah. And do you know what it made me think of? Because it was like everyone's like, what?
Like a 24/7 title.
No, not that. Thinking about one during the horror show Extreme Rules, and Bailey just puts a shirt on,
right.
and it's like just becomes the ref. It's like we're just gonna make a match out of nowhere, and just grab a ref, and that means you're gonna lose the belt. But yeah, I can see what you mean by 24/7 championship as well. Yeah.
So before we get on with talking about the rest of the film, if this is your first time listening to the podcast show, please subscribe to the channel. It is the best way of supporting TheMan Games and helping us grow as a channel. Also, check out the other videos on the channel. The Fun with Figures, the watch along that goes every Saturday. Currently, it is the best of Brody Lee. And like I said before, we have loads of 2K20 stuff on the channel. Also, so next up, they say they're going to have a party in the King's Motor Castle. Garley's there rocking out an Eminem t-shirt.
I love that t-shirt. I put that as a note, and I was like, that t-shirt is mint. That was a really good t-shirt.
Mean Gene was loving a dance in this segment. He asks Jimmy King if people think he's sexy.
Yeah.
Then King's preparing for his match and downs 2 shots and some raw eggs and runs down a manhole.
Yeah. Once again, another bit that I think...
Yeah, that's a bit shit.
It's stupid.
So next they're going to take Jimmy King to a trainer. So did you realise who this person was meant to be based on?
Oh, was it supposed to be Thingy's dad?
Bret Hart's dad.
Bret Hart's dad, yeah. I thought so. I forgot my notes. Who was...
Bless you.
Thank you. Who is...
So this is the Man and the Wife podcast, but there's actually our daughter that is sneezing.
Next to us. I was going to say who was Sal Bandini, and I did think it was Bret Hart's dad, which made me think about the screw job and like those sorts of things, like, if they're going to do stuff like that. Is that why they're doing it? But yeah, as a actor, who do we say who in something that we know? Or?
Ed TV.
That's what he said, sorry.
Yeah. So now he's training Jimmy King to wrestle. Next up, Gory has a date with Sasha. Did you like this scene?
I thought it was really funny, the bed scene and everything, and like talk about wrestling. And she obviously means sexy wise, and he's like actually trying to wrestle.
Gives her a snapmare.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think that's really funny. I did think that was quite funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did you think I was going to think it's stupid?
No. It's like when she gets her boobs out, which you don't actually see.
No.
It's like, foreign object!
Yeah, he slaps her.
Yeah, he slaps her across the face.
I thought that was really funny.
So next up is the John Cena scene. John Cena in the background of Goldberg talking to Gory and Sean and the King.
I'm guessing that Johnson obviously wasn't in WWE at this time?
WCW.
What?
But this was in 2000. He didn't even... I think this is when he was just a bodybuilder.
Oh, right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think he was actually in wrestling. He was just a bodybuilder at this time.
Yeah, well, I didn't think... Johnson's never been in WCW, has he?
Oh, he was in this film?
Well, other than this film...
No.
That's so funny.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so he's never... That's why... But I meant, obviously, he wasn't going to be in WWE if he was in a WCW film.
So the next scene is Sid Vicious and Perry Saturn attacking Sal Bandini. as obviously they work for Sinclair. Then in the hospital, you see that Sasha has actually been working for Sinclair all along. So Gory leaves her there pretty much. King goes home and sees Hilda out of Sabrina. Says he still loves her. She kicks him in the balls a couple of times. I don't think there's anything else to say about that, really, is there?
No, not really.
So then when they turn back up to Lusk, Gory's dad turns up and takes him home and says, "You're gonna be a cop. You're not gonna be touching other men." Sean and King turn up at the house to try and take him, but he says he's gonna stay and grow up and get rid of all his toys and stuff.
Did you ever think about having one of those conversations with yourself, darling?
I told loads of my stuff.
Just curious.
You should have seen my wrestling collection before when I was like
Single.
18.
When you were single.
It's not very nice, is it?
I still love you.
It could be young men listening to this, and you're making them feel very.
You still have lots of stuff, and I encourage you to buy lots of stuff as well. To be honest, so I'm not saying anything bad about it. I just thought it was really funny.
You can't. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say something good because I don't want other people to feel bad the way you're making.
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be funny, but obviously you're taking this very much to heart.
So next is the scene where they try to choose the King's posse to be in his corner. Yeah, again, not a really great scene, so we won't really go into too much detail. I mean, the pretty kitty scene was probably the best part of the whole thing, really.
She looks like a nun and rips all her clothes off.
Yeah. So Gory turns up to say bye to Jimmy King. Why, you seem to be staring at me. Have I missed something you want to talk about?
No.
Huh? You give me a deep stare. Like a bear stare, like out of Paddington.
I was just listening to you.
So yeah, Gory turns up and says...
Gordy, that's what I was looking for. Gordy, not Gory.
Anywho. Gordy says bye to King, saying wish you could go with him, but he can't. Then next up, obviously, is the Royal Bash, which isn't a real pay-per-view name. It is just, obviously, for the film. Next, the best wrestler in the world is on the screen, in my opinion, obviously. Titus Sinclair saying to Sting...
So you're saying the best wrestler in the world is Titus Sinclair?
No.
Yes, Sting.
That he will fuck him up. I think he says that if Sting interferes in the match.
We'll need to put a little warning out that you swear on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
The film is an F-15, I think.
Is it? No, keep going. I lost train of thought, haven't I?
Yeah.
He threatens.
Yes, he threatens Sting. He doesn't say the F word.
You just said F him up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Keep going.
So now the match has started. It is Jimmy King and DDP in the ring.
So obviously it's one of those 3 cage matches.
A triple cage, yeah.
That's the one. Now, obviously I know WWE do this on some pay-per-views. I remember
They even did them on Nitros to try and get
they?
ratings, yeah.
So my question was, was this 3 cage match something that happened in the film and then they made it into something at WWE?
Yeah.
Or was it
Yeah.
WWE did it and then they put it in the film?
No. The film did it and then they thought, we'll try and get some ratings out of this and put it on awesome pay-per-view buys, and then put it on real TV.
Okay, it's not that, because I remember we watched the pay-per-view, can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of this match.
Okay.
I'm into the match at the end of talking about the film.
Right, okay.
Because it's kind of connected.
Right, okay, go.
So yeah, there's the scene we talked about already about the powder and then the damned upside down as a pussy.
Best line in the film.
Yeah. So Jimmy King at one point gets a ladder around his neck and takes out all the bad guys that have come into the ring, should we say.
Yeah.
At one point his son's in the ring. Not really giving a lot back here, you just nodding.
Oh, sorry.
Podcast listeners can't see you nodding.
Sorry, yes, so his son's in the ring. I like when he had the ladder around his neck so no one could get close to him. And he was like, going around and knocking him out like that. But yeah, his son's in the ring and his son's like, no, Dad, don't do this to me. And then he turns on him and he's like, this is for everything you've ever done to me.
So then King's getting beaten down by Vicious, his son, Perry Saturn, Guerrera, and then Goldberg comes down with the Disco Inferno, Billy Kidman, and we've already said Goldberg, Booker T, but they can't break through the cage, and then Gore D is on his bike and a police bike and busts open the cage.
When this happened, I thought this film was a bit like WCW on steroids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously WCW did some ridiculous things, didn't they? And it's like them on steroids. But then I'm like, it wouldn't even surprise me if this happened on WCW at the same time.
Yeah, true. So next, he spears King's son, and then you see his dad watching in the police station.
Yeah.
I thought I quite think that's like quite funny, really. When he's like, my son won't be a wrestler, and then he's like, that's my boy.
It is. It's like, reminds me of my dad. Like, my dad has always been like against wrestling.
Like, wrestling's the devil kind of stuff.
Sort of thing. And
if you're listening, Kev, we still love you.
We do still love you, Dad. But he's always been like against it. And when Sean and I started dating, what?
You just said my real name, but
I'm so sorry. So when the man and I started dating,
the man and I.
And obviously I grew up in Australia, so my parents still live in Australia, so we went to Australia for the first time together, and we were watching wrestling, and my dad was like chuntering to himself that we were watching wrestling together. And it's only, was it last year or this year? Last year he started to get into it, and he sent you an email, or was he talking to us on FaceTime or something?
Yeah, about The Undertaker chokeslamming him.
I don't know if you've seen this match before, but I watched it. I thought it was brilliant, and it was the
Hell in a Cell between Mankind and The Undertaker.
I loved that he thought that we hadn't seen this match before, and he thought that it's like you to tell us about.
And he says The Undertaker is his favourite wrestler.
It is, yeah. So now he's a favourite wrestler, and he's now a fan, which I thought was really funny.
So yeah, then Sasha comes down and says that her and Gory should get back together, and then she gets hit by a chair. Like when she gets hit by sorry, not a chair, a ladder, sorry.
Thank you.
And then when she's like, she looks like a doll, like when she's laid down. I don't know if you noticed. She doesn't even look like she looks like a doll. Didn't really like that. So then King and Paige are on the top of the third cage. He gets chucked off by DDP. Then you see Sting in the rafters. Well, sorry, before that you see Sting in the rafters. And I think you're supposed to feel like, what's he going to do? But even when I watched this as a kid, I never thought for 1 second he wasn't going to help Jimmy King.
Yeah.
Just because. Like the scene earlier when Sinclair said to him, you better not help him, that kind of made me think, well, he's going to help him then, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's going to, yeah.
So...
He's been threatened. He's going to do the opposite thing, isn't he? Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure.
Certainly.
So yeah, the King gets chucked down to cage one and Sting drop kicks DDP off his line, should we say.
Say that again.
Sting, he's on his zip line, isn't he? And
he's on a zip line. Oh, he comes down on the zip line and drop kicks
DDP onto cage one again.
Yeah.
And then they battle back up to the top, and then King body slams DDP.
Oh, wait, go back. Obviously, like Sting saves the day, and he comes down to the floor, and Gordy and Sean are like buzzing, aren't they?
Yeah.
And this would be you if you met Sting.
I have met Sting.
Well, yeah, okay, that's true, haven't you? But it's just when he's like, is it Gordy gets hit first?
No, Sean gets it first, and then Gordy's like, yeah, hit me.
Yeah, I just thought that would be you.
Yeah, no, for some that's a bit of a silly scene, though, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that bit.
And like, I remember thinking, like, obviously, because Sting's my favourite wrestler, I probably say this every single podcast.
Everything you talk about, yeah.
I remember like being like, that's it, that's all, like, that's the only like two real scenes in the film.
Yeah, I can see what you mean there, because he was also such a big star, and he was in such a small proportion of the film. But yeah. So
yeah, after that, Jimmy King body slams DDP through the top of cage 1. He goes through, cage 3, then he goes through to cage 2, then 1, and then obviously he wins the championship. And then at the end of the match, Titus Sinclair is saying to the fans that he made wrestling.
And who's that supposed to be?
What, Vinnie Mac?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that before when we actually mentioned this when they're doing the interview backstage, and DDP says, "I don't understand why the kids really like Jimmy King," and he's like, "The kids are morons. I love who they tell me to love." Didn't make me think of Roman Reigns at all.
Yeah, that's it. Like, a few things happen. I'm like, they're definitely gonna dig it. Vince McMahon or WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So towards the end of the film now, Mean Gene says to King, "Who's going to be your tag team partner?" And he obviously says Gordy, aka the Law. And then we finish the film with the shop scene again, where Goldberg, which is in his wrestling gear, which really makes no sense, really.
I did think that when it comes out,
he's in a shop in his duds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chucks the shop clerk through the door, and then they get in a car, which Che is driving, the Nitro Girl. And in the back, there's like a hot tub, and there's Charmel on fire with Sal Bandini, and he says, "God bless America," and that is the end of the film.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was the end of Ready to Rumble. So, now we'll go to what you brought up earlier on, the Slamboree pay-per-view, where, a few weeks before this, David Arquette had been in the front row of Nitro.
Oh, so a few weeks before this film had premiered?
No, but a few weeks. So you said about the pay-per-view that we watched. So a few weeks before that. So I reckon when this film was premiering, they brought David Arquette to a Nitro taping, and then he was in the front. Well, actually, I think he might have even been backstage, and they said, "Oh, do you want to? Should we do this?" So I think it's on the Nitro. He's in the front of the crowd, and he ends up getting into a scene in the ring, and then on the Thunder, it's going to be DDP and David Arquette against Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff for the WCW Championship.
Yes.
And in the match, David Arquette spears Eric Bischoff and wins the WCW Championship.
I remember this. And because it wasn't it like David Arquette that was like, you just be there, you don't have to do anything, and then he like...
Well, that's at the pay-per-view, yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
So at the pay-per-view, when he's defending it, he defends it in the triple cage against DDP and Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, sorry, I was getting ahead of myself there. Yeah. Sorry.
So apparently,
thinking very hard there.
So apparently, I've only really recently found this out. If it's true, I think it might be, but it's actually Tony Schiavone's idea to have David Arquette win the championship.
Oh, that makes you mad, I can tell.
It doesn't make me mad. I really do like Tony Schiavone. He's one of my favourite announcers. But when I was a kid, I didn't mind him being the champion. It's as I got older, I don't really like it. Because I remember as a kid, and when he won it, it made me feel like if he could win it, I could win it.
Yeah.
Like anyone could. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously, you're a movie star as well, aren't you?
No, but he's like, and I you when you're a kid, you don't really think about that. He's like just someone out of the crowd. It's not exactly. He's not like this. Not like Goldberg, is he? Not like a big guy. He's like an average, an average sized person, really, isn't he?
I'd say he's particularly scrawny, actually.
Yeah.
Average size, but yes. And I bet you probably didn't know he was a massive movie star either.
No, I've never seen him in anything else.
Yeah. Okay, I can see what you mean. I was just being horrible then.
Yeah. So.
Go to the pay-per-view? No?
Well, just talk about it. So, at the pay-per-view, it was David Arquette defending his championship against Jeff Jarrett and DDP. At the end of the match, Arquette turns on DDP, hits him with a guitar, and Jarrett wins the championship at the end.
Yeah.
So all the money that Arquette made from his... not the film, but from being on Nitro and Thunder and the pay-per-view and that, he donated to Owen Hart's wife and the family of Droz, who got paralysed in the ring, I believe. I don't really know much about Droz, but yeah, so it's not like he won the championship and, like, at least with the money that, a lot of people think, oh, this was really bad, which I think there is good and bad in there, my own opinion, but at least he did something good with the money. He didn't.
Okay, obviously he wasn't doing it for the money, was he? He was probably just doing it for the thrill of being on wrestling. Like, I'm guessing
he wrestles on the indies now sometimes.
Does he?
Yeah.
And so obviously he was a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, any film star or anybody who's a wrestling fan growing up has an opportunity to do this, they're not going to say no, are they?
No.
Do you know what I mean? But regardless if anyone thinks it's good for TV or not, I think you'd probably be a bit selfish and be like, no, well, actually, I'm going to do it. Then probably make yourself a little bit better by going, I'll just give the money to charity. But no, I think it's lovely of him to do such a thing, because obviously he didn't need the money.
Yeah. So one other thing I will say about the actual film, I remember when I bought the film, on the back of the cover, so on the back of it, the picture on the back was a picture of David Arquette and Jimmy King on commentary. That never happens in the film.
That's true. I feel like we should point out that actually this film that we watched was a DVD that you would transfer from it. So you bought it as a VHS.
Yeah, I bought it as VHS.
And then you've had to convert it over to a DVD, but you can't buy it as a physical copy DVD anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't think. Well, I look at Amazon, and it just, you can buy it, like, you know how you can buy it online now, or like rent it.
Oh, right.
But I well, anyway, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I couldn't see it when I was looking.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, brand new. I bet you can probably get it secondhand somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Do you still have the VHS somewhere? That is the question.
Don't think so.
You mustn't, because I remember when we were cleaning at your dad's house, and he gave us those billions of VHSs from taped things.
Yeah.
Like episodes of
Nitro.
But we didn't have an actual VHS of anything.
It's not the point. They're like memories.
Yeah. Did we bin them, or are they up in the loft?
Yes, darling, we bin them.
They're in the loft, aren't they? Yeah, let's move on then, shall we?
So, anything else you want to say about the film, or any questions or anything about Arquette or anyone else?
No, I mean, no, I feel like we've covered most stuff.
Yeah. So, actually, I will say, like, I remember in episode 90, after he wins the title, he's outside at the beginning, and his wife, Courtney Cox, is...
Oh, Monica of Friends.
Oh, wow, she got there in the end.
I was wondering what you were like,
what
prompted me to say.
Yeah, I thought you'd be like, oh, that's Monica.
Right.
That's what she's most famous for.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's there, and he's like, I'm the WCW champion. She's like, you're not a wrestler.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, like, in Friends, she has a boyfriend who fights Tank Abbott in UFC. Tank Abbott was actually a wrestler in WCW as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I was going to say something again. It's just flew out of my head.
About Monica?
No. What made them make this film? Like, was it just like WCW and Warner Bros.
I think it was because WCW was starting to
do really crappy.
Yeah. So I thought I think they thought the film would help bring back maybe some of the fans that had turned away.
Right. Okay.
But it didn't.
It just cost them like millions.
Pretty much. And the Triple Cage match started being a match on Nitro. So they used to do a match where there's maybe like say 12 wrestlers, or even probably more, and they'd hang the title at the top of the cage, and it was whoever got the title. Well, not even got the title. You just needed the last person to leave the cage with the title won the title. So I think say Booker T could climb up there and get the title, could be near the door, and then Jeff Jarrett could take it, and then he could win the title.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Vince Russo actually won the WCW Championship in a Triple Cage match because Booker T went. Booker T went to leave the cage, but then Goldberg speared Russo through the cage at the same time. So technically, Vince Russo escaped the cage first, so he won the title. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
And they wonder why they went out of business.
Yeah. Anyway. But no, overall, I can see how, as a wrestling fan in the 2000s, how you could enjoy this film. It was definitely in with the era of sort of that sort of comedy of that time, that really sort of silly sort of stuff that happened, like those sorts of things. Obviously, seeing all the WCW wrestlers and stuff like that must have been really cool for everybody. It annoyed me that they didn't use an actual wrestler for the main wrestling character.
No, I do like him as an actor though.
I do like him as an actor.
Oliver Platt.
Just in this film, but so overall, but not actually my cup of tea. Probably wouldn't watch this film again. So yeah, that's my opinion.
So it was Don't Say a Word. That was a film I was thinking about that we've watched with him recently.
Which one? What was that about?
So it was about
Was it a thriller?
Yeah.
Keep telling me.
So the guy's little girl gets kidnapped, and it turns out that he was like a doctor or something as well.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
It had Brittany Murphy in it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anyone listening was in suspense about what the film was, that's what it was. So yeah, this was a movie review, the first one we've done, obviously on the podcast show. So if you did enjoy it, please let us know in the comments.
Well, I think I'd like to do some more movie reviews. Obviously, WWE have quite a few films out. So if you guys liked any particular films reviewing, let us know.
All right, well, which ones would you like to do?
I would love to do 12 Rounds, the one where on the Gold Coast.
So she wants to do 12 Rounds. It was on the Gold Coast. I think she means the Marine.
Is it the Marine?
Yeah.
Damn it. But they're not. It's a Marine, and they're supposed to be in Florida, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's actually filmed on the Gold Coast.
It's filmed on the Gold Coast. I'm from the Gold Coast, so there's lots of things I'm like, I know that place, I know that. So I like to do that. That's for me personally.
Maybe we could do a top 5 John Cena films or something.
Talk about to do that, yeah.
High points, low points.
Yeah.
Because like this was actually like a wrestling film, whereas the other ones are actually just wrestlers in films.
Yes, that's true. That they are.
So maybe we could do like a wrestling star movie podcast show,
okay.
maybe.
Like one for The Miz, one for John Cena, one for The Rock.
Movie star, and you've got The Miz.
Yeah.
Not Dwayne, The Rock Johnson.
No, of course not. Miz first, obviously. He actually came third, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure there's like he's way down the list.
What do you mean?
Of movie stars.
But like a WWE movie star, Rock has to be the biggest, surely.
Oh yeah, but you said third for The Miz.
Yeah, but I said in my list, I said The Miz, then I said John Cena, and then I said The Rock.
Oh.
So like The Rock was the third person that I thought of. So like, anyway, we're going really off topic now.
Yeah, Mr. Nanny had Hulk Hogan, and I used to love that film when I was a kid.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I don't think you can buy that anymore.
Alright.
So yeah, that was it from the podcast show today. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Anything you want us to review, leave in the comments. Also, and please subscribe to TheMan Games. This has been The Man
and the Wife
podcast show. Thank you for listening.